Today we're going to be talking about what you can expect from the life cycle of your pen. That's right, they go through a life cycle just like us. My name is Amanda Arneill. I teach hand lettering and art here on YouTube and also with full online courses on my own platform, amandaarneill.com. And one thing that I always talk about is how important your paper is, because that's the foundation of everything that you do, and it will make your pen last longer. But that being said, pens don't last forever. So I wanted to talk to you today about the life cycle that a pen goes through. So first, born is a brand new pen. When you get your hands on this, you feel so much love, so much expectation for what life will be like with this brand new pen. But just like all new pens and new people, these pens can be a little bit tricky, potentially, because they are brand new out of the pack. You don't know how they're going to act when they're a little bit older. So one thing I want you to keep in mind with your pens when you get them out of the pack, especially with these Tombow hard nib pens, is that sometimes they're a little bit pointier or a little bit floppier than you would first expect. So this one is our baby pen. Another thing though is that you can get really fine upstrokes with this baby pen because that nib has not been touched at all. It is perfect and brand new. It's just like the potential that you have with a new child. And then they become teenagers. So you've had them for a while and those upstrokes are a little bit softer than they used to be. However, you're starting to be able to reason with your pen, and it is giving you the lines that you were hoping for. You know how to work with it because you've been using it a lot, and you know what to expect. It also doesn't have as many ink blots as it used to because that extra ink that was just sitting there at the beginning and sometimes made your lines a little bit too dark is gone. It's a softer look now. With these baby pens, I would suggest never using a brand new pen on anything that you need to be able to see the other side. There's going to be the most ghosting through your page with the baby pen. So if you're using it in a bullet journal that has thinner pages or your Bible that has the thinner pages, it's definitely going to show through on the other side. And even the teenage pen is going to show through as well. But then the teenager wisens up and becomes an adult. And you can tell from the tips of these pens that there is a difference between them. Some pens, if they're a felt-based pen, are going to fray over time as they become fully grown and mature pens. And with the Tombow bullet tip or other nylon nib pens, that nylon can become compressed so that you don't have the same difference between the upstrokes and downstrokes that you used to have. That being said, now in your adult pen, your transitions between your upstrokes and downstrokes is much easier. It's much more based on the pressure that you use on your pen as opposed to potentially the pen flip-flopping around. And that can happen with your baby or your teenage pen. There's still a little unpredictable. There's so many hormones rushing through those pens. Your adult pen is much more predictable. The adult knows its job, knows its purpose in life, and that purpose is to give you beautiful letters every time. The upstrokes, just like the midsection, it's a little bit thicker than it used to be when it was a teenager, but still doing amazing work for you. Once your pen is an adult and has that more smush nib, it also means that the ink is not as dark and won't bleed through as much as it used to. So that you have less ghosting here or potential actual bleed through if you're going slowly with your letters than you do with the baby pen. This becomes really obvious if you're using it in your bullet journal or in your Bible or anything like that where you're very concerned about ghosting on the other side. But then we have the golden age of the pen, where it's starting to work its way towards the retirement home. It's a bit of a senior citizen because it's been well loved, the nib is pushed right down, and sometimes you get a little bit of a lighter line, especially in those quicker downstrokes. Or if you try to do faster lines, you get a little bit where the pen doesn't give you that black that it used to, but these pens still have a really important purpose. Anytime that one of my pens starts to not fill in its lines so completely, or it becomes more of a gray than a black, just like the hair situation that can happen. Once they start to gray out a little bit, take a tiny bit of washi tape and wrap it around the end. Then you know, okay, this one's gonna get the senior citizen discount, be a little bit gentler with it. But these are the perfect pens for doing any of that work where you really, really don't want it to bleed through or ghost through onto the other side. There's even less ghosting with a senior pen because it's not putting as much ink onto the paper. The ink's starting to run out a little bit. It's not quite as robust, perhaps, as it used to be. But these are the perfect pens to use in your bullet journal or in your Bible, so they still really have a place. Another situation that these are perfect for are your practice pieces or using tracing paper, because tracing paper doesn't suck as much ink from the pen, so you'll still get beautiful pieces even with your older pens. So just because it's old, you don't need to throw it out. Instead, tape a little bit around the back of the pen so that you know that these are the perfect practice pens, and give them new life, even as they might have to be retired from your regular pen collection, but they still have a great purpose. When you start to get fraying though on your pens that are a felt-based nib, do a little bit of research, because some of these pens you can actually pull that nib out. You really should do it with a tweezer so that it's not all over your finger like that. But you can pull it out and flip it to the other side, because that also has a perfect brush tip. You've given it really like Botox and maybe some lip injections or a slight facelift so that your pen is ready to go again and work for you, just to stretch out that adult time for a little bit longer. Just because a pen has frayed, it doesn't mean it's necessarily the end of its life cycle. Do a little bit of a Google search to see if that pen can be flipped around and it has a second life on its rear end. We'll go with that. If you're thinking about getting a specific pen, make sure that you check out my full What's That Pen series so that you know if that pen is a good purchase for you. You can see all of them through this link right here, or make sure that you subscribe so that you don't miss a single one. I'll see you again next time, and until then, happy lettering.